What's up, you filthy flapjacks? My name is Wes, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. In today's episode, I talked to Minneapolis' Marmalade. The band has steadily become a fixture of the scene over the past few years, releasing their self-titled EP in 2018. We talked about the band's history, touring, new music, and more. Here's my interview with Maddie, Lucas, Jonah, and Playku of Marmalade. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Yeah, it's been a crazy time, and we are, for obvious reasons, not doing in-person interviews, so we're trying this over the digital realm, and we're going to see how it goes. Cool. I like to start interviews and just kind of see just the band's history and just kind of work through that a little bit, because y'all have been together for quite a while, I've found, even if you've only been putting stuff out since like 2018. But individually, how did each of you really first connect with music? Because I find that pretty much any person that plays music in any capacity, just like they have at least one or so distinct memories where they first kind of realized, oh shoot, I love music. This is something I want to do. And sometimes it comes when you're a kid, sometimes later in life. But actually, you know what? Scratch that. We should do introductions. You should introduce yourselves. That might be good to do. Go in someone start and then go in like a square, because we're in a square.
Okay. I guess I'll start. I'm Maddie. I sing and play guitar.
Okay. My name is Jonah, and I play the drums in Marmalade, and I also sing sometimes.
I'm Lucas, and I play guitar and sing.
I'm Playku, and I play bass.
Sweet, we made it through. Okay, back to the question. Just your first kind of distinct connection, like with music. Like, I guess, what was that for each of you? When was it?
Do you mind if I go first again? Just get a little... Yeah. Okay.
That was a good order.
Sweet. Well, I was in first grade, and I started watching Hannah Montana, and I decided I wanted to be a rock star. And yeah, that's kind of how it started. I saw Miley Cyrus for my birthday one year, shortly after that, and I was like, yup, this is it. And then I learned how to play guitar in 5th grade and didn't stop doing that since.
That's like an iconic backstory right there. Just want to be Hannah Montana.
Yep.
I can't say mine is as iconic. I don't know, my dad always like played these records in the car and stuff, and I just thought that I would be like, oh, this sounds so cool. And I think that's probably mostly where it came from. And then just like, I don't know, seeing all the homies do their stuff is super inspirational.
Yeah, for sure. One of the other two, doesn't matter which one.
Who's next? Is it me? Okay. Wait, so is it like my first like what
kind of like your yeah, sure. Just your first really distinct memory of music, like the first time you remember having a really strong connection with just music, because obviously as someone who makes music, you care about it a lot.
Yeah, my dad, when I was a kid, gave me like an MP3 player, and it was just like all of like his music like on it. So I just kind of like grew up listening to like all that, and it was mostly just like 60s like rock music, stuff like that.
Dad rock, yeah.
yeah, like, well, a lot of like Led Zeppelin, a lot of like Earth, Wind and Fire and shit. But yeah, and like I don't know. And then I went to art school with these dudes, and that was just kind of inspiring, you know, watching that like grow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was like a lot of my family members also played bass, actually.
Wow.
So there's like a ton of basses lying around my house. So when I was like going into high school, I kind of had a disdain for it because all my family members were so much better than me. So like I like came to high school and met my friends, started becoming better, and that's when I started to like care about it more. I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just kind of clicks after a little bit and get over the
Yeah.
the familial pressure.
Yeah, for real. Dude. Yeah,
Just
it's funny.
borrow some of their bases for shows. Just if they're like way nicer or
Always.
something. Just to flex. As you mentioned, Lucas, the band came together in high school. That's when y'all met and started playing music. I guess talk a little bit more about that and kind of the start of the band before you really started playing shows, or obviously recorded and released the EP, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, give your superhero origin stories.
What?
Jonah's shaking his head because we all kind of have different stories about this one. But
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
Jonah, you should just say it. I
We-
think you're
we all
pretty-
kind of, yeah.
John's one that did the Radio K interview. He's the voice of truth.
I am the voice of truth. I'll try to be as truthful as I can. So, like, yeah, we all went to high school together. And it was this, like, really small, like, super, like, closely knit, like, arts high school. And everybody was, like, pretty cliquey, and I don't know. So we were just, like, I remember I had my homeroom class with Playku, and that's where I met him. And then one day I was singing a song, and Maddie like continued singing the song, and that's how I like met Maddie and was first like, okay, this person is like lit. And then me and Lucas were in a guitar class together.
And in physical science.
I was
And
in that.
okay, and in physical, were you in physical science too? Okay, well
Yeah.
you're not a memory of physical science. And so I feel like we all kind of met on like a kind of like individual, like that's how I met all of them personally. It didn't really feel like a group thing until like a while in, where there's a bit where like it would be like me and Maddie and Playku would jam, or like me and Playku and Lucas would jam, and then eventually it just kind of all came together, and we would like during lunch there's a practice room in our lunchroom, and we would all just like eat lunch in like 1 or 2 minutes, just like shove it down our faces and just go hang out in that practice room and just like make super loud obnoxious music, and everybody
We would play Nirvana.
Everybody in the lunchroom, I'd play Nirvana and like Green Day, just like super loud and like
You got it.
scream and shit. Yeah, it was so much fun. So yeah, I think that's kind of like the pre, like that's how we all met. That's like how we all started hanging out and being like, okay, let's do some music stuff.
Yeah, and then
I would
obviously
agree.
Marmalade started, and since there was from what I understand, a gap just obviously between when you formed, I guess officially, and like really started playing together as a band instead of just jamming, and when you played your first shows, was that mostly just writing material, continuing to jam? Because like takes a while to write songs sometimes, so.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
Yeah, you can take it.
Okay. Well, I just remembered at our first show we played Jenga. So
Okay.
we did write quite a lot of material because
Sure.
we didn't want to just be a cover band. That was
Yeah.
like important to us. So, and then we got offered a battle of the bands by a friend at school. So we played Joner at that show too, I believe. And then a couple of our older songs that we don't ever play anymore.
Just
And
unreleased
one
ones.
that's going to be on our next release
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
from way back then.
Yeah. So, are a lot of these older songs gonna come back, or like a lot of these songs, either if they didn't end up on the EP, are they just kind of like, are they lost to time and they'll just stay there, stay dead, or might they resurface?
Some are probably gonna stay dead, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Some have
Just
their
because
grave.
they were bad. Like they're
Yeah, we were starting.
Yeah, you gotta grow,
It's a part of
grow
the
from somewhere.
process.
Yeah. Like we have a different vision now for some of those
for sure.
songs that we don't have the same vision that we had when we like wrote those songs.
Yeah.
Because we were like 14 and 15.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you mentioned, I think Jonah mentioned, again, my one citation of other interview was the Radio K interview. You mentioned that just most of the songs just start from someone brings a riff because you all play guitar, kind of like codifies, I guess, over time, or has that changed from those like the early days when you were writing these
I would,
songs initially?
I would have to say it seems like it's changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would say mostly due to just not like being in high school anymore with them and like being able to spend every day together from like 7 in the morning to however late at night we ended up hanging out. And I think that kind of took like a toll on how we like wrote our music and how we kind of like got together and did do stuff when we like started taking, you know, college classes and like doing this other like life shit, you know what I mean? It feels like sometimes it was more like instead of coming up with a riff, someone will maybe have a larger idea than just a riff, like something more solidified as a whole piece. And then from that we all work on it, and it's definitely, I would say it's still all like very collaborative. Like even if somebody comes up with a whole riff, a whole like, you know, couple of sections, there's still a lot of like from the time that they showed everybody that to the time that we're like, this is the song, it's usually gone through a few changes
Yeah.
that we all kind of work on together and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that pressure of not seeing each other has just caused us to use our time more wisely almost. And like, I value band practice so much now because, well, first of all, we're in a pandemic and I can't have band practice anymore. But
Yeah, for real.
we used to just jam a riff for like hours on end, whereas now we're a little bit more like organized about it. And I don't know, there's pros and cons to both methods, but
For sure. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the songwriting and how that's changed. So let's talk about the EP very briefly because it's been out for a while. Everybody knows it at this point. People are like screaming along to every single word, which is always crazy to see. How did you kind of, given at least at the time, the jammier nature of the songwriting process, how did you finalize those songs into the versions that we now know on recording and from seeing y'all play live?
I mean, I think each of the songs oh, sorry. No, go ahead, both of you.
Oh no, I feel like from like practice to practice it switches, especially when we're like writing a song. It usually takes like a handful or sometimes even like just two, and then usually a couple times performing it as well. It'll end up being like we'll like get together and realize that we like feel like a part needs more energy or needs more like something to it, you know. And that's how I feel like our refining process kind of like happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
Practice to practice.
And even playing them with shows, yeah, that makes sense because I know some bands like doing that. They debut the new stuff live to see how people react and kind of let that inform. And other bands like, no, we'll finish the song, it'll be good, and then we'll let people hear it. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing to balance because we recorded a song that we'd never played live before, and I think it's my least favorite recording we've ever done because we just didn't feel it out. And like some of our new stuff we have played a couple times, but I think that it's been really beneficial for the recording process because we know how we want it to feel.
Yeah, recreate that
And,
live
like,
energy.
Exactly.
For sure. And with like in regards to like the EP, the old EP and that stuff, I always felt like whenever we were recording, it was kind of like, you know, it was like crunch time every time we were recording. Like we had to be on our shit like to get it done. And really just kind of like, you know, I think we recorded that whole EP in less than 2 days. Like,
Damn.
Well, we recorded it all in one day, and then
like what,
Just did
vocals the
vocals.
next?
extra like mixing the next day.
Yeah.
So like we recorded that whole thing in like 9 hours or whatever. And then that was it, you know, it was like, that was it. There was nothing left after that
Yeah.
to do. or anything. So I don't know. It kind of felt like it would be when we were releasing that. At least it was a whole bunch of like hurry up and like practice and like get them super solidified how we want them, and then record it and just wait for the product to come out. And I think that it turned out well. I was happy with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, like listening, anytime you listen to your own music, you can hear what you don't like about it, but
Yep.
that's why I don't listen to it very much.
Artists are their own biggest critics.
Right. I would say that the coolest thing to me is that some of the songs that we put that are on that EP, we play like not the same as it's recorded, like to this day. So even after we recorded the songs, we still ended up changing them to like fit just something else that we thought was cool, or like like the change. The metamorphosis never stopped,
Yeah.
and like we just keep trying to make new cool stuff. So
Yeah. So this is kind of not a relevant question, but it's not a totally relevant question. I'm a sax player, so I love the sax part, and this reminds me of you. Who was that? What is? Talk about that real quick.
That's me, sir.
Dope. Yeah. You gotta whip that out live sometime. Holy crap.
right.
We do. Well, like, we haven't in a minute. The last time we did, I think it was literally summer.
Oh,
Yeah.
But
We don't play that song too often.
But when we do, shit goes down.
absolutely. Hell yes. When music is allowed to resume, you gotta kick that off. Start off with the sax again.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
So you worked on the EP with Eric Paulson, obviously of Remo. Talk about how you got connected with him, what it was like, even if it was just one day recording and working with kind of a local scene icon is, I guess, as much as one can be.
Yeah.
We just got kind of connected through friends. Like our friends Jake and Theo know him, and they recommended recording with him, and so we gave it a shot, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
It was definitely like met him through the mutuals, met him through just like people that he knew that we knew, and it was definitely a very, very professional experience. I would say. Like, we got in there. We got into his basement, and like it was crunch time. There was no joking. We were on it.
He's very serious about his craft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I'd say he's
like,
definitely
all right, we're doing
that.
it. It was definitely just like on a schedule, and I don't know, it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice. And then like less than 2 weeks later, or about 2 weeks later, it's like finished product.
Yeah, mixed
exactly
and
how.
Like okay.
Yeah, and pretty quickly, you know. He got our input, and he got like the final, the first, the second. He got all that out, and it was it was done very fast. I think it was nice.
Yeah, that's definitely quick for mixing and mastering. EP. Cool. It's always cool when people have worked with like other like kind of known producers. So your next release was the split with, I'm not sure if is it Climby or Cleamy or like what? Climby. Okay. It was the split with them. You guys had 2 songs. They had 2 songs. Talk about how that came together, because I mean splits are obviously awesome, but not enough bands do them, it seems. Even if it's just like through Bandcamp.
Would have to agree with that.
Well, Climmy's just our homies, and then we were just like, what if we put these 2 songs out? And they had a couple songs, and our friend Andy from school, we all met at school. He recorded it for us, and then we sent it off for mixing and mastering. Or did Andy mix it? I think Andy mixed it.
That's at least what Bandcamp said.
And
no, he just recorded it. It was someone else.
Seth mixed and mastered.
Oh yeah, Seth mixed it.
Okay.
From Options.
Okay.
Yeah, this sick band in Chicago.
Yeah, super
cool.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess specifically with Hollow Head, you re-released that. It feels like 2 years ago, but it was last month pretty much.
Yeah.
What led to that decision? Because I know, like, I mean, Nate from Oftener recently did something like that where he like took his first EP down and then put it back up on streaming. But this was like, it's just putting the song out, re-releasing it, essentially unaltered. Was that just kind of like a, we care about the song, we want you to be able to listen to it in a more convenient way type thing?
I mean, I kind of thought of it as like a little Scooby snack because we've been working on stuff, and I was like, we haven't put something out in too long, and we've been working our hardest on this next release, and I was like, what if we just give the people something?
Yeah.
Because I know it's annoying not being able to put a song in a playlist if you want to, or anything like that. So
Well,
I don't know.
and like hella people had just been telling us to put Hollowhead
Yeah.
on Spotify. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Let
I
it be
thought the
known.
funniest part about that was that after we put it out on Spotify, because it was just on like SoundCloud
And like
something.
Bandcamp.
Yeah, it was on Bandcamp. And so after you put it out on SoundCloud, like the next couple days, we got like a ton of people being like, "Your new song is so like, crazy," and it was just funny to be like, "Yeah, like we recorded that so long ago, and like
Yeah.
it's been out." But I don't know. I thought it was cool. So
That's funny.
That's
People need to
That was-
learn their Bandcamp. Come on.
right. Bandcamp is an essential piece of like DIY music. I would say.
Honestly, I'm a bigger fan than most, but I try not to shove it down people's throats. Cool. I guess outside of the re-release, your most recent recorded and released song was the song you did for the Braced Cove comp that came out at the end of December. However, your EP was self-released, so you haven't actually put anything out with Braced Cove. Was getting connected with them more just kind of like for the future, for tape distribution, because obviously they sold you tapes, and I guess also talk about how you got connected with Braced Cove, because we got a lot of love for them and love what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly how it started.
Well, they
Wasn't
hit
it like
us
the
up.
coffee shop?
I remember, yeah, they hit us up, and we're starting up this like DIY label,
Yeah.
and we're just like, we want to put out like tapes of your EP. So yeah, so we were just like, we're down, and they put out tapes of our EP, and we sold a
It's
bunch
so
of
sick.
those, and then they were like, we're doing this like, like split, like 4-way split
Yeah.
Brace Code thing, and they were like, we'll also put out tapes for that, and they asked if we wanted to do a song for that, so we put Gross on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot we can talk about for the new stuff, just because none of it's like recorded. I was unable to hear any of it, and now we're all stuck at home. So I'm guessing the productivity has been a little down, unfortunately. But whatever you're comfortable saying and talking about, like, I'd love to hear what you have been working on has been going, what you're kind of most excited about, whether it's reworking old stuff or totally new songs that people will be hearing for the first time whenever shows resume, whenever stuff goes back to normal. Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
Wants to take
Okay.
it.
yeah, so
Okay. So we recorded, sadly, 4 out of the 6 songs that we planned to release. But our plan right now is to release those 4 songs, and then post-Corona, we'll put the last 2 songs on our next release.
Okay.
And so we'll have some things coming up in the future. We're just kind of waiting on mixes and mastering, and we're making some cool things for people, and we'll work on figuring out how to distribute them right now. It's a shame that we can't put out a 6-song EP right now, but we've got 4 songs coming.
Yeah. 4 songs.
yeah.
People will be appreciative, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The goal was definitely 6. We had this idea that we were gonna record 4 that we had that we had down a lot more than the other 2, and then go on. We were supposed to do like a little 4-day run with Bugsy out to
We did.
Chicago,
Well,
and we
you
made
did 3 out of the 4.
we did.
Like,
We made it out
yeah.
to Chicago. We didn't play in Chicago,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And the idea was then to just kind of like shed those last two songs during that time period and like really make them solid. And then when we went back home, record those two, and then boom, there we go. We have 6 songs. But we with the Corona shit, like we had to go back. We had to go back home, and there we stayed.
Yeah.
So,
Little did we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our plans got foiled.
A little bit. Yeah. Who are you recording with, or were you doing it yourselves?
We're recording with Zach Cummings.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to play guitar in Remo, and
he's
done a few.
Yeah, I've heard of him, yeah.
So
just in a bunch of local bands.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Zach, jack of traits.
Man of the hour.
Yeah, I met him the first time at shows, so he's been around. He's been in the scene, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we recorded those 4 songs with him. Planned to go back and record the last 2, but that just never.
Yeah, it was
never
delayed
happened.
Inevitably.
Yeah. So exactly.
Yeah.
So with that, we decided that it might just be the best thing to release what we have so far.
Yeah.
And just try to put out some some music in this crazy time, and hopefully people will respond well to it, appreciate it.
Have a lot more time to listen. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Get 1 million plays.
Get that playlist placement that everyone craves. Yeah.
Yes, that algorithm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Shit. Talk a little bit about the tour with Bugsy, albeit only the 3 days that happened. Because really the kickoff show was sick, and there was the other 3 shows
fun.
that did happen, and you made it to Chicago, but did not play because the venue made the call, I believe.
Which was smart.
Yeah. Little did we know.
Yeah. It was so much fun. They are such amazing people, and I think so fondly of that time we had, even though it was short.
And every show that we did play was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
It was lit.
3 out of 4.
We definitely met a lot of like cool people. Went back to some places that we'd been before, like what is that? The Barnacle?
The
right?
Barnacle?
Yeah,
Super sick.
Gash is crazy.
Yeah.
Gash is
Gash
sick.
from Eau Claire.
They're great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dash went super hard. Miss B went super hard. Like everybody we played with was super crazy, I thought. Fat Charlie's, that venue was crazy.
Yeah.
It was just it felt super, it felt like even though we were out on the road, it felt like we were still at home, we were just hanging out with our homies, and like it felt very close, very tight. I had a blast.
Yeah.
The whole time. And even I was just gonna say that even when we made it to when we got to Chicago, like I think we had already left Milwaukee and we're on the way to Chicago when they were like, yeah, no, the show is canceled, like we're not gonna do it. But we had like 50 miles to go or some shit.
Ooh.
And so we were just like, let's just go and we'll just hang out.
Yeah.
So we hung out with Bugsy for a while. They ended up leaving and going home that night, but we stayed that night with a friend. And yeah, it was super fun. I wouldn't have changed anything, to be honest.
Yeah. And that was your second Midwest tour, or non-local tour, because you had the tour with Grandma before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Was that one a little bit longer? I couldn't find the exact date. No, about the same.
Just
same
4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
In and out, clean
We were
little
planning
weekend.
Yeah, it's fun, it's easy, and also we're just figuring out the booking process, and it's like we don't have an agent or anything like that would do it, which is cool. Like it's a part of the process, and you meet so many new friends through it, so it's good. And we were planning a bigger one, but
yeah.
Well, literally
what can you do?
Both Bugsy and Grandma, I would tour with for longer.
Again,
World tour.
World tour.
Yeah. Because booking is obviously like literally hell, but it's one of the most important things that bands do. So, best of luck going forward for whatever it resumes. But yeah, that was a sick little mini tour there.
thank you.
So we've kind of covered everything, albeit a little bit out of order, which is totally cool. Yeah, you got the little 4-track EP coming out. That's super cool. Everyone should stay tuned for more information about that as it is figured out. Usually, I end interviews by asking like what local bands and like what other bands have you been like particularly into lately, and just spending a lot of time with. But I guess given our circumstances, which are very unique now, I'll expand that question to like what music has been keeping you kind of going while you've been trapped at home or just kind of stuck wherever, other than Harper's Jar, because that's kind of a given at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
that album is super sick.
yeah, who else do you want to shout out? And like local, non-local, just what's been keeping you sane?
Who wants to go?
I've always been like, I'll always be bumping Casual.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yo. Yeah.
Next.
Anything else, Lucas? Or...
Oh well.
Just listening to Flying Blind and just on loop, just constantly.
Jump off the roof.
For real. Well, what else? I don't know. I'll come back to me because literally
Yeah.
Casual is all that came.
Come back to me.
This is the time where we take a pause so people could pull out their Spotify's and stuff. Usually.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Yeah.
Nah, I have it.
Thundercat.
Go ahead, Pliku.
So I've been listening to a lot of like Pierre Bourne. A lot of
Okay.
Pierre Bourne.
Yeah.
I've been bumping. I've been also just like listening to some like regular like snail mail, regular songs that are just like in my playlist. J-Som, you already know, is in rotation every day. Young Thug, been listening to that record a lot.
Yeah.
The deluxe version.
I love how much Jeremy Warden of Heavy Meadow and Double Grave loves Young Thug. He just
Yeah,
loves Young Thug
that's
so
like
much, and rightfully so. Like,
Yeah,
come
for
on.
real. Yeah, the last record was crazy. But
Yeah.
I've just been listening to everything that like fits the mood in the moment.
Yeah. Get a hell yeah for that.
Jonathan, do you
For me, I would say, I love the local homies, of course, like Milo, Kwani, Span, all the crazy bands that like, I don't know, that I love and have just, it's more than I love them for their music. I've known all these people for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I don't know, they make music like worth doing it, you know what I mean? So that's, I love supporting all the local bands, freaking Keep for Cheap, Sapphire, Bugsy,
Yeah.
like all the crazy shit. They're all so good in my heart. But then, of course, there's like Earl Sweatshirt and like Wait Fun.
We're listening to
It's just-
Earl and Clemson.
Noted
It's
local
just-
artists.
It just goes so hard. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But I'd always like to shout out and give love to the local homies.
For sure.
I would have to say, well, Dom Winterbauer, our friend from Milo, just put out
Oh,
a
Like a
few songs.
3-track,
and
yeah.
Yeah,
That's really
it's so awesome. I've been
Mhm.
banging that.
No way.
It's, yeah,
Damn. Okay, I'll have to
Yeah,
check that
Dom
out.
is super prolific.
Super sick.
Like, seriously.
yeah, Dom is crazy.
When did he put this out?
Like 2
Like,
days
a
ago.
couple days.
2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone was
Yeah.
kind of distracted by Harper's Jar, and I felt a little bad, but I was like, it's there.
Hey,
It's still good.
I'll take both.
Yeah, no complaints,
Yeah.
really.
For
Yeah,
real.
it's been making me kind of a little bit too soft listening to local music, to be honest, because
Mm.
Bugsy came on the other day and I definitely got really, really sad.
Yeah.
But not to be a weenie, but when I listen to the homies, I just think of seeing
Being with
them and
Yeah.
being with them, and I miss that a lot. But I've been listening to a lot of Duster,
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
Alex G, a lot of Dive,
Mhm.
and then also like Gadget.
Yo,
from
their
here,
new album is
super
sick.
Yeah,
That's so freaking
and
crazy.
I love them. And While God Sleeps, Grainier, Jonah named, like
Yeah.
all the local homies.
Local homies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no pressure to like name everybody and feel bad about like missing one band.
Right.
Everyone's always like, I can't, otherwise I'll forget someone. It's like, no, just whatever you got. It's no
Yeah.
pressure.
You're forgot.
Yeah.
Dead Son,
Dad's Son.
Dead Son.
Yup.
smack.
I'll have to check them out because I saw some tweets. I think Maddie, you tweeted about it, but I have
Yeah.
not checked them out yet. But I should, I guess. No.
Dead Son goes hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Seth from Options, like drums in Dead Son, and that's how I like kind of found out about them, just because like I fucked with Options like before I found out about them. But yeah, they're so tight. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Super talented.
Yeah. Well, you love to hear it.
What
yeah.
about you?
Oh, yeah.
What have you been listening to?
Mostly just the Harper's Jar album, to be honest. Like I've had it for like a month because Joe interviewed them a while ago, and that was like my one. Like I was like kind of like sneakily like haha, but now I'm so happy that it's out, and it's just obviously like game changing music. It's so insane. But yeah, now usually no one turns it back around me. I feel weird.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
We're interviewing you.
One of my favorite interview experiences, we'll probably cut this out, is after Joe interviewed Casual, just like turn the mics off, they just started interviewing him. They just started asking him like, so what's your life story? It was the funniest thing. And
Fucking
it made me
Dino
so happy.
just sitting
Yeah,
there.
Dino and Paul are just like, so how are you doing?
You know that they're just and they're genuine about it too. You know
totally.
that they're like,
real.
I actually want to know.
Yeah, they're
how
such
your
cool
day
guys.
was.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
I love them. Those
Dino
are the
makes
guys.
great coffee.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
hook this up.
Yeah, I guess my one recommendation is 9 Inch Nails just put out 2 albums of like ambient, like experimental compositions, and they're actually like super
Okay.
chill and super tight, and like you can
Sick.
kind of put them on in the background and like just let them kind of like wash over you. I don't know. Had that on the other
yeah.
night. It was dope. They're like each like
yeah.
80 minutes long, so there's a lot of it.
What?
Yeah, just Trent Reznor's just got free time and can just do that now.
Yeah.
And like they were put
Wow.
out for like totally free if you want to download, I think. So
Yeah.
Sure.
That's super
Okay.
sick. Thank
shout
you.
out, shout out 9 Inch Nails, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Nin, you guys.
Nin. Oh, is that how you say it? Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, that's pretty much it. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.